Stop motion animation is a creative field that is notorious for its lack of black representation. We can see this in a bunch of the popular movies of this genre, such as The Nightmare Before Christmas, Corpse Bride, and Frankenweenie. And even Tim Burton, someone who's famous in this genre, says that black people cannot fit his aesthetic. And now in 2022, we finally have a movie that is going to prove Tim Burton and people who think like him wrong. And this is Netflix's 2022 animated movie titled Wendell and Wild. And while it did do a good job at showing that black people can be in this aesthetic and can especially be in stop motion animation, Wendell and Wild did not give us a good movie. Wendell and Wild did not give us substance, and I really wanted to talk about that in this video. And I also want to talk about how we failed Wendell and Wild as well. So if you're interested in that, keep on watching. So before I begin talking to you guys about Wendell and Wild and why I feel like the movie left a lot to be desired, I want to give you guys a basic plot summary. So I'll be reading from my gigantic iPad right here. And so the plot of Wendell and Wild goes like this. Wendell and Wild is a stop-motion animated movie from Henry Selick. The movie is about two scheming demon brothers who are hatching a plan to defeat their arch nemesis while helping a girl going through tragedy throughout her life. And guys, when I tell you that it was a hard time trying to find one cohesive plot summary of this movie, it kind of just demonstrates my points that I'm going to make later in the video about how this movie felt all over the place. Before I really talk about the things that I didn't like, I want to sing the praises of Wendell and Wild first. Wendell and Wild is a beautiful movie. I will never take that away from this movie. Stop motion animation of this movie was something to behold. I really liked the spooky atmosphere of this, and I really felt like it really set the tone right. In terms of looking at this movie and enjoying it for its animation, I really loved it. I've seen a lot of gift sets made from this movie, and I do have to say that this movie was gorgeous. You can really tell that someone was really putting their heart and soul in terms of making this movie, in terms of its visual appeal. I also love seeing a variety of different faces and different body types in this movie. I just love stop motion animation because you can just do so much with like claymation, if that makes sense. Like, the world is your oyster in terms of this animation style. I also really enjoy how our main character looks. Like, she's just so pretty, and I really enjoy seeing her. I love to see girls who look like me animated and just shown like this. I also love how this movie was able to portray black anger in a way that wasn't offensive. Usually when black women are shown to be, you know, angry and emotional, we're kind of portrayed as the angry black woman archetype, and we're kind of always put down for having emotions like the rest of the human race does. But this movie did a really great job at portraying anger and grief and sadness and loss and regret and everything really well. And they also allowed Kat to feel really genuine. I really loved how Kat was written. I know for a fact that Netflix spent a lot of money in terms of the voice acting. We had Angela Bassett as Sister Hilly, I believe, and we also have Wendell and Wild as Keen and Peele, or vice versa. Who knows what I'm saying? But we also had them, and they were very interesting too to hear on the live screen. I really love Kat. Like, the actress who played Kat, I'll put her name somewhere on the screen. She did a really good job voice acting her. And I just love Kat. I feel like Kat was the best part about this movie. Okay, so now that I have the positives out of the way, I really want to talk about the things about this movie that let's just get into it. The one major issue that I had about this movie is the way, like, us as the people outside of the movie handled it. I really feel like Netflix didn't promote this movie enough. I really feel like if it wasn't for the people that I follow, specifically the black people on Tumblr and TikTok and Twitter, I would have never known that this movie was coming out when it did. I remember like 3 months before, I saw a couple of trailers on like my YouTube like For You page or something, but I really didn't see enough promotion. Like, for example, I'm releasing a video soon about the School for Good and Evil, and I saw a bunch of Netflix spot ads about this movie, but in terms of Wendell and Wild, I didn't see any ads. And I remember somebody was even on my Tumblr, shameless plug, I'm gonna plug my Tumblr in, but somebody was like, Netflix did enough animation work seeing as it has other movies to promote. But what's so crazy is that they didn't promote it though, like they promoted other movies. Like, what was really crazy about that though is that Netflix really wasn't promoting the movie. Like, individual people who were not affiliated with Netflix had to do the promotion. As I was doing my makeup for this video, I went on Snapchat just to memorialize how good I look right now. And I saw a Wednesday filter. Wednesday is like a movie that's coming out to talk about Wednesday Addams. So Netflix is willing to pay movies for filters. And I saw a plethora of the School for Good and Evil ads on my TikTok feed. All of the other promotion was from the people. And I remember I saw a tweet or something that was like, hey guys, Netflix isn't promoting this movie, but just so you know, Wendell and Wild came out today. And I just think that's crazy because I'm like, y'all as a Netflix weren't promoting it. It had to be us, the people. And I also feel like because of the fact that people wanted to kind of get back at Tim Burton or whatever, they also did this movie a major injustice by comparing it to Coraline. Like, I saw a bunch of tweets saying, guys, this is gonna be Black Coraline, Black Coraline. And I don't know if they said that because the main character is a girl and it's also stop motion animation, but I really feel like that comparison to Coraline, I really feel like that comparison to Coraline did this movie a major injustice, because me and my friends, like, we came into watching this movie like, oh, this is about to be a Black Coraline. Like, Coraline, I obviously didn't expect it to have the same plot or whatever, because one is about demons, one is about a demon. What is the other mother? That's besides the point. I obviously knew these movies were going to be different, but I thought it was going to give the same vibe, and it didn't, which was majorly disappointing. So some of these critiques are for me, and some of these critiques are critiques for my friend who watched this movie with me. So I just wanted to give that disclaimer. So one of the major problems that I had coming into this movie is that it was like marketed as supposed to be like a horror thing. Like, yet again, people was comparing it to Coraline. So I obviously expected a dark, grim atmosphere, and visually that's what I got. Like, obviously we have demons, we have this dark mood setting, our main character's parents drown, we're getting that, right? But for some reason this movie wants to take itself like a comedy, like a dark comedy, and I really feel like this wasn't the movie to be making a dark comedy about. This movie talks about a bunch of serious topics like the school to prison pipeline, colonialization, gentrification, but then there's a weird comedy element to it. And I noticed that they were trying to be funny in like a gross slapstick comedy way. Like, there was several points throughout the movie where me and my friend had to look at each other like, girl, like, ew. It wasn't funny, but you could tell it was supposed to be like Teen Titans Go type funny. And it, with the vibes of this movie, it wasn't giving. Like, it's like they wanted me to laugh, but I didn't laugh. And I really feel like that was not the right tone for this movie about such serious topic. Like, I was on Tumblr and someone compared this movie to like the Scarily Fairly Godmother, I think. I'll put the picture of what I'm talking about on the screen. But I'm like, that movie was about a silly Halloween thing, and this was supposed to be something serious, but it low-key gave the same vibes, which is not good. I was really confused. Like, the tone was off. Like, and I also feel like that's because the movie did not know what it wanted to be. There was way too many topics, way too many characters, way too many tones going on for this movie to be anywhere near coherent. Okay, so I'm gonna pull out my iPad right here for you guys, and I'm just gonna read to you guys the list of characters that were prevalent in the movie. So we have Kat, Wendell and Wild, Sister Helly, Father Beats, Raoul, Zabone, Saloon, Sweetie, Raoul's mom, Mrs. Hunter, Manberg, Dolores Elliott, Wilma Elliott, Jane Claxton, and Marg Claxton. Sorry, I was not about to remember all of those names of those characters, but a bunch of those characters have a prevalent role to play. And I really feel like because of the fact that there are so many characters in this movie, it felt like it was too much going on. Like, I feel like all of these main characters took away from Kat. And as I just told you guys in the section about like what I liked about this movie, I was so confused. Like, I remember we went to Raoul's house and I was like, where are we? Like, I was so confused what was going on, because Kat's supposed to be the main character and she's literally sharing the spotlight with everyone. She's sharing the spotlight with Raoul. She's sharing the spotlight with Wendell and Wild. Saban, who knows? She has a bougie name. She also got like a major like character arc going on, and I was just flabbergasted because I was like, this movie is supposed to be about Kat and her trauma, and everyone's taking a piece of her pie practically. Like, me and my friend, like the whole entire time, like we were like, what's going on? What's going on? And the movie also did not do a good job at explaining anything. Like when I was looking at the whatchamacallit, the plot summaries from the different websites, I didn't even know that Wendell and Wild were supposedly arch nemesis with Sister Helly. Like I didn't even know that they were trying to summon her and they accidentally got Cat. When I told my friend that, she was like, when did that happen? And I was like, sis, who knows? And I really feel like the movie did not do a good job at showing what's going on with the Hell Maidens. Like, what's their deal? Like, what's going on? I really feel like too much was going on, and we really didn't leave this movie with a good, like, I don't even know, like, a good summer up. So I wanted to compare this movie to Coraline because, listen, that's how they told me this movie was gonna be. When we left Coraline, we learned two important messages, like everything that glitters isn't gold, and like how to deal with family issues or something like that. Like even though your parents may be busy, they still love you. And then the glitter, like everything that glitters isn't gold. That was like the main takeaway. Another movie that had a bunch of characters, like I told you guys, is Encanto. I did a video about Encanto if you guys want to watch that. But in Encanto, we had a bunch of different characters. We had two sides of the same family. But at least after watching Encanto, you got one message, and that was forgiveness and something about family trauma. In this movie, I got like a good five things that I was supposed to leave with. Prisons are bad. What's it called? Gentrification is bad. Something about forgiveness for yourself. We also learned about like colonialism and the school to prison pipeline. I really feel like they should have chosen one, or at least two. The Cat's trauma, and focus really hard on the school to prison pipeline or the prison. Like they really should have chosen one or the other. And I also was so confused when Sabone like started playing a major role in like the third act. I did not expect that. I guess that was supposed to be a subversion, but then I was like, damn, like let's go back to Cat. And then Wendell and Wild too. Everyone was just taking up so much of the time that I really feel like should have gone to Cat, because Cat was the most interesting part about this movie, but we really didn't get to see my sis shine like that. Like sis is a whole Hell Maiden, and even I'm confused about that. Like what does that mean? What does that even do? And don't get me even started on the dude in the wheelchair. I forgot what his name is. Like his teddy bear thing, what was that? I feel like I never left figuring out what that was, and that also feeds into like the childish, unfunny aspect of this movie. Like you could tell like they wanted us to laugh at the absurdity of the talking doll saying all of this demonic stuff. But at the end of the day, I was like, where did the doll go? What was the purpose? I didn't understand what was going on, and I felt like that was such a waste because they really could have dived deep. And we also had a bunch of good characters too, who I would have loved to see more from. Sister Helly has a level of intrigue that needs to be tapped into that I feel like we didn't even get. And then Raul could have had his own story if we being for real. Like he's a trans boy in an all-girls school in a town that's dilapidated. Like I couldn't tell. Like after a while, I was like, is Kat the main character? Is she supposed to be sharing the spotlight? Is it like a half and half situation? Your girl was perplexed. So now that I've talked to you guys about my critiques of this movie, I want to talk about what could have been done, what should have been done actually. And so I really feel like with how overwhelmed the movie was, that it should have definitely been an animated show. Like there's even talks of Encanto getting its own show because people want more from these characters, and I really feel like that should have been the same for Wendell and Wild. Too much was going on. So I've written down on my iPad again my list of things that I would love to see in a Wendell and Wild TV show. So I really want to know about the Hell Maidens. Are there other Hell Maidens? What's the backstory with Sister Helly? Was she also going through a traumatic situation like Kat, and that's what unlocked her Hell Maiden abilities? Ignore that, y'all. The ambulance loves to be where I'm at. And I also want to see more standalone episodes. Like maybe Raul gets his own standalone episode and it's kind of like a romance thing. I would love to see Raul get like a romance arc. I would also like to see more from Sabone and her friends. Maybe she has an episode where she talks to prisoners. I mean, she definitely has to go see her parents now that they're in prison. So maybe it's like she tells us more about this message of the prison industrial complex. Maybe she could be a fake me Kim Kardashian character and try to get somebody out of jail. I would love to see that, and then we can really delve deep into the horrors of the school to prison pipeline, because that's obviously a major theme that this movie wanted us to leave with. I want to see what the heck is going down in hell. Like, what's his name? Bazar. Let me go find out this man's name. His name is Buffalo Belzar. I want to see a backstory about why it took him so long to find his kids. Like, we find out in the end of the movie that the man in the wheelchair has been keeping like 80 of his kids. Why did this man not go find his kids? Send somebody to go find his kids. Listen, if maybe 2 of his kids go missing, and then he's like, okay, they're grown, but 80, and then Wendell and Wild were his only kids left. Something ain't making sense. I want to see what the other kids do in hell, how they're doing with the whole carnival thing. And I also want somebody to explain to me what the purpose of the carnival thing is. Like, explain. We need some underworld episodes to explain the ecosystem, the societal expectations of what's going down in hell. Like, how did he get these kids? Why is there so many of them? Why didn't he look for them? What's the point of the roller coaster? How are Wendell and Wild helping with the roller coaster? And can somebody please explain to me this whole arch nemesis thing with Sister Helly and Wendell and Wild? I didn't even really see them interacting like that. When I was finding the synopsis, when they said arch nemesis, I thought they meant their dad. Because I remember they were like, our dad, he always wants to oppress us. Only to find out that the arch nemesis they were talking about was supposedly Sister Helly. So I definitely need I need a little bit more explanation in terms of that. And yeah, in conclusion, Wendell and Wild wasn't like a horrible movie. It was really good, and that's why I was so disappointed, because I really felt like it could have done more. Like, there were so many things that could have been expanded on or cut out in order for it to be more cohesive. And the fact that I left this movie feeling so confused was really sad to me, because I really feel like this should have been the Halloween movie. Like, guys, you don't understand how excited I was for this movie to come out. Like, I think it came out either the 24th or the 25th of October, like right before my birthday. So I was like, this is gonna be my birthday movie, only for it to be so disappointed. And I was telling my friends about it, and when we were watching it, they were looking at me like, Emma, why would you recommend this movie? Like, this movie isn't giving what it's giving. But I still appreciate it for doing what it did, talking about like such stern topics, giving us representation that we never see. I've never seen an animated Native American woman that didn't come off as a really racist stereotype. So I'm really glad we got that. And we also got Black grief in a way that wasn't offensive too. But I'll still give Wendell and Wild his props. I definitely believe everyone should at least watch it once, at least to see the beauty of it stop motion. But dang, I really wish that it gave cohesive. Yeah, I really wish it gave cohesive. So thank you guys for watching until this point of the video. It seriously means a lot. If you guys have your own, critiques or even just comments about Wendell and Wild, leave it in the comments section. I always reply to comments. And yeah, just tell me what you guys think. If you like this video, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe. I have a bunch of videos coming out for you guys soon. And I'll definitely see you guys in the next one. Bye.